Well, this is Industrial Light and Magic, right? So the same people that did Jurassic Park, did this. And it went from a $20 million budget to a $48 million budget. So I don't know how any of it looks cheesy today. Like, $48 million, man.
One of the guys who worked on T2 also worked on this.
Right,
so
he was.
They had a stellar group of people to work on the effects and such, but I think that the CG that they were demanding for this film, it was just way too ahead, like way too behind the times to actually accommodate. They were able to pull off, I'd say, 80% of what they wanted, but the 20% that's bad, it's really bad. Like, the fire looks like PlayStation 1 graphics in certain places, which, don't get me wrong, I did have the Spawn game on PlayStation 1, and it sucks. Spawn Armageddon, though, that game ruled. That was awesome.
I think the reason it failed, like, CGI wise, is just because it's a lot of action. It's not like slow moving dinosaurs, you know what I mean, or stuff like that. But I mean, it's still great. I love this movie. I was disappointed to look at all the Rotten Tomatoes and everything. Like, critics and everything else beat the piss out of this movie. I was like, guys, like, understand it is what it is. Like, come on.
It's scored very low over history, and it's kind of interesting. People who like the Spawn comics tend to all agree that it's not a great movie, but they still enjoy it. Personally, I really like the movie. I think that it is a staple of what 1998 had to offer. 97, 98, 99, 7 had to offer. Like, it is like that time period. It really is. It's a time capsule.
Well, this is also the first real, like, taken somewhat serious black superhero. I mean, this is a year before Blade. Before this, you only had like Meteor Man and Blank Man. So this is really the start of a brand new future.
Yeah.
So.
And the cast actually for this movie, I think, is absolutely crazy that they got all these people together with this script and with this. I mean, comic book movies at the time, you had Batman and Robin, you had, like, they weren't doing too great. So getting like Michael Jai White, getting John Leguizamo, getting a Sheen, like, what? You got a Sheen in this?
Well, the only reason he did it is because his grandkid liked the comics and the show, which that happens a lot. It's the same thing with like Donald Pleasance. That's how they got him for Halloween. John Carpenter's Assault on Precinct 13. But this movie is.
I just find it's crazy. And Spawn, ever since, there was rumors of a sequel, there was rumors of a Dark Ages prequel, then there was rumors of its own film, then there was rumors of this, that, and the other. But at this point, I'm not really sure. Last I heard is it might come down to Jamie Foxx being Al Simmons, which that's
been on the table since like 2017, 2016, though, and just can't get any traction.
Yeah. No offense to Todd McFarlane, but I feel like this is the staple move for a Spawn film, is he releases a bunch of ideas about it and then pulls it back. Just recently I saw something about it maybe not being a big release, but being like an HBO release instead, since HBO has Spawn the series, and I think they even have the rights to the movie at this point, but I don't know. Which, by the way, the series, fantastic as well.
Yeah, I saw it a few times on HBO growing up, but growing up with like normal cable was a pain, because if you miss something, it's gone. Like, you really loved a show that had a recap at the beginning, like gave you 3 episodes worth of a recap, because otherwise you're just screwed. And it seemed like a lot of people, for whatever reason, like where I wasn't interested in Spawn, so nobody would talk about it. Like nobody was watching it where I lived. You know what I mean? It's like the argument we had with Blade and X-Men, which one was bigger. In my area, X-Men was bigger. For whatever reason, it just nobody talked about Blade. I talked about Blade. I mean, I think Blade's far superior than the original X-Men, but nobody was talking about it.
Spawn, yeah, in my area, Spawn wasn't a big deal. He was a big deal with myself, my cousin, other metalheads and stuff like that. That this is totally influenced by. Like the soundtrack alone is made up of like Metallica, Marilyn Manson, stuff like that. So it was right up my alley. And then the concept of Death's Revenge, so the Crow concept, but a little more angels and demons. It held weight. I didn't read too many of the comics. My cousin was really into the comics, really into the figures, and had a lot of knowledge on Spawn. When the movie came out, I remember my brother and I were at my grandparents' house, and my grandfather, super Baptist Christian man, asked us what movie we wanted to go see at Oak Park 6 or Oak Park 8, whatever it was. And I said Spawn, and my brother, who's 7 years older than me and way more gothed out at the time because I'm 7 or 8, and he's long black hair, all black. He's behind my grandfather doing this. And I was like, no, I want to see Spawn. And so we went to see it. And my grandfather already hated 90% of what we watched. The Friday the 13th movies, Terminator, all that stuff. It's all just blood and guts, and it's all too much, and you kids shouldn't be watching this stuff. We get to the movies. You can tell he's irritated like a quarter of the way through it. And then he falls asleep. He always did fall asleep in the movies. And after the movie, he just like laid into me and my brother about how it was a horrible movie and it's just sacrilege, and it was the whole nine. And I still remember that to this day. My brother's just like, this is all your fault. You did this. But yeah, no, after that, I still loved it. I thought it was cheesy but good. And I still hold that value.
I don't know how we got in to see it, me and my buddy, because I was only 10 and he was the same age as I was, so I don't know how we got in, but we got in. And I remember, because it was PG-13, it wasn't rated R, but I remember we got out of it, man, and minds were blown. I was like, you know, could Batman, you know, what if him and Batman went up against each other? Okay, yeah, he'd probably take Batman. What about him and Superman? Well, Superman would probably take him. And like we just started going through like all the lists of our favorite characters, and I just remember thinking like the possibilities at this time, especially with live action. Spawn had the most. It was the most versatile, right? He had a real depth to him, right? He was supernatural. He was a force for what he thought, in this movie anyway, a force for what he thought was good, turned out to be evil. He went to hell. Now he fights for heaven. Like all these different layers, and just, you know, and I just, man, as a kid, it just blew my mind. And you know, the graphics, we didn't have a whole lot of great graphics back in the day, especially as a kid. Your threshold for, you just want to see it. You don't care the quality necessarily, you know what I mean? Like, you just want to see it. I mean, at this time, CGI was a thing, but it didn't just, like, it wasn't a CGI puke fest like most things are today. Like, in 97, yeah. It just wasn't a whole lot. So, for us, it just blew our freaking minds. I always did think that the devil was pretty weak sauce, though, and he always reminded me of the devil from The Golden Child, like same voice, similar feel, like the atmosphere and everything felt similar in the hell dimension or whatever. So that kind of bugged me. There were certain things that bugged me as a kid, but for the most part, loved this movie.
Sorry. Just realized I should add a. Yeah, no, maybe
More.
no. Let's.
There you go. I know. I got to get that figure, man. That's the only one I have.
I used to have a lot more. As John knows, my cousin passed away recently, and he and I were really close growing up. And Spawn was our thing. Spawn and The Crow were our two main go-to films. His favorite was actually the third Crow film, mine the second. We both knew that the first one was the best, but those were our personal favorites. The Spawn figures we both collected, and the movie Maniacs we collected, and we started following. I started getting into the comics a little bit, but he had like the books, so like once they did a full chapter, he would go buy that whole novel. He didn't buy issue by issue by issue. So Spawn was kind of our thing, and the video game, that Spawn Armageddon game, I can't tell you how many times we both just played through that game, just sitting in the same room over and over and over and over and over again. And it was absolutely an amazing game. And it's such a, if you take it down to its basic concept, person dies, person comes back from hell, person fights hell demons and angels to make the earth realm better, but he does it against who brought him back to life. It's a stupid easy concept, really stupid easy. And Todd McFarlane himself, he used to draw for Spider-Man, he used to draw for Batman, he used to draw for Deadpool, he used to draw for all these different leading comic book characters.
Venom, I believe.
Yeah. And then he incorporated all those characters into Spawn. And that's his character, and he works. He's so 2000s, like that many guns, that much violence, the angels and demons, the heavy metal, the dark goth feel to it. It's like the perfect thing for the kids that he and I were. So I don't know. I've always been into it. I'm kind of sad that I don't have all the old figures I used to have. I used to have like the Redeemer Spawn, the Angel Spawn, some of the comic book cover arts that he did. Like there's one of him where he's like squared off and it's like a perfect cube and he's like crawling up a wall. That thing now is worth like $300 in the box, and nope.
Yeah, I can't remember who came out with it, but there's a really, really good looking statue of Spawn. Like, I think he's either next to a gargoyle or he's just up on a balcony like a gargoyle, and like the cape's coming around him and stuff like that. And I'm just like, that's so dope. Like, I mean, yeah, you can see, I mean, really the character is a mixture between Batman, which he drew for, and Venom, who he created. And it's just, and then you do the angels and demons thing, which is a perfect way for like the supernatural aspect, while also using lore that everybody grew up with and is easy to attach to. And if you're not like a Southern Baptist, you can detach it and just know that it's all make-believe and it's all okay. Like, let your mind roam. If you're really good, you're gonna be okay. But kids are impressionable to a degree. I get it, but
I love my grandfather. He was overprotective. He absolutely hated that my brother and I listened to like Marilyn Manson, that I started dressing in black and stuff. Like, he absolutely hated all of it. But I don't know, he took all of this a little far. But I still love him for it, and it left memories. Like, I will never forget. I had just mowed their front yard, my brother mowed the backyard, and my grandpa's like, "What movie do you want to see?" And we got the newspaper on the hood of his truck. And I can still picture my brother standing behind him, just so like, don't do it. Spawn, 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 Spawn. Good times.
I mean, you can tell just in this movie. I mean, he had Todd McFarlane had complete creative control for the most part. Mm-hmm. You can tell this is marketed for kids, for teenagers, for people that want like rock and roll, funny, quick paced, bright but gothic. Like he had his finger on the pulse of like everything from, you know, a little bit before even like 89 Batman to The Crow. Yeah, he had his finger on that, and he just knew exactly how to tap into it while also entertaining you with like the comedy and stuff all through it. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, let's grab this. Let's get this started. Let me grab a water real quick since I don't want to drink that 2-week-old coffee. My bad, but throat.
Fair enough. Very, very disappointed in him for that. But yeah. No, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you enjoy joining us for Spawn. This was actually my recommendation. Since my cousin passed recently, I really wanted to kind of watch a movie that he and I used to watch a lot. That's another one we did, Little Nicky. That was probably our favorite movie. We've watched that a lot. So yeah, this week we're hitting an awesome, ridiculous, fun, funny action comic book movie. And I need to open this guy. Yep. Yeah, I need to open him.
You remember that?
Yeah, I'm going to open him.
What are you opening? Oh, the figure?
Yeah. Maybe not right now, but he's getting opened.
Yeah, that figure's sweet. I should have bought that thing. All right.
I wish I could have gotten one with the battle axe.
Yeah, that thing's sweet.
Now those are stupid expensive. Okay,
do you remember that?
Oh,
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say that I am paused. I was going to say that I'm paused at 5 seconds in and the New Line logo's starting to form.
Yeah, he originally went to Columbia Pictures, but they were being difficult, so he went to New Line. Okay. I'm 5 seconds in. Don't you do it. Hang on. Info. I am exactly 5 seconds in. How about that? Okay. So yeah, getting ready to start the 1997 Spawn, directed by dudes whose name I can't remember because this was his first directorial debut. Starring Michael Jai White, Martin Sheen, and John Leguizamo. And of course, there's other big time actors.
I still cannot believe that John Leguizamo was a Violator. Absolutely awesome.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, he was perfect. But here we go, guys. In 3, 2, 1, engage. Playing. Caleb, do you remember the images of all the movies I showed you on eBay? I bought?
You showed me a lot. I don't remember exactly.
I've doubled that in the past 4 days.
You got to slow down.
I know.
You got to slow down. My edition was Darkness Falls. That was it. So
that's good enough. I found that at the pawn shop. I was pumped. This is the last movie of this guy. I can't remember his name. The guy who plays the angel. Galliostroy, whatever his name is. Anyway, he played Merlin and a couple other things. This is his last movie.
He was a really good casting choice too. He fit that character perfectly.
Oh yeah, Michael Jai White and him, like their voices, even Martin Sheen, everybody's got a really good voice that you just you want to listen to.
It's kind of weird.
The opening is so rock and roll.
Yeah, and it's also cheesy bad. Like, even at the time, I thought that the opening was cheesy bad. But it somehow just works. Like, I don't know. It's perfect in a way.
That reminds me a little bit of Universal Soldier, which Michael Jai White would be in the Return of Universal Soldier, which I believe was the year before this or the year after, one or the other.
I would like to see Michael Jai White in a bigger name film again. I feel like he's been pushed back to like straight to video on demand movies for a while.
Yeah, it's something sad, about though. The karate action heroes really got pushed aside in the late 90s, mid 2000s. It just wasn't a thing anymore.
Yeah.
Once the superhero movies started to fire up, they just was like, meh. Michael Jai White, he was really good in Exit Wounds.
Yeah.
Try to lower this a little bit.
Oh,
the Jericho missile from Iron Man.
That CG didn't age well.
No. But at least it's in the time of PlayStation where it feels like it's time at least.
True.
That's what, if the CGI wasn't going to be great, what they should have done was go for a real comic book feel for this movie, kind of like Sin City or something like that. You know what I mean? They should have sheened the rest of the movie maybe a little bit. Done something to kind of blend the two a little bit.
I think that would have been better. Honestly, from what I've read, he originally wanted it to be animated or 3D animated, and that might have worked in his favor, but at the same time, I think that he was trying to grab a broader audience, and the best way to do that is with a live-action movie. I don't know. Enslave their souls to hell. Yeah, by this point, my grandpa's glaring at us.
He's like, what are we watching? God, yeah, everything, yeah. So mid-90s.
It's funny because it's like a movie like this, I could go and watch, again, my cousin and I fell in love with that movie. It was Idle Hands. I could watch this and then go watch Idle Hands right after it. It's a completely different story, but it's that same kind of 90s rock and roll comedy vibe. Like, it works.
Yeah, the quips and the snarky comments. Yeah, like it just kind of has that attitude to it. Yeah, I love this movie. I know it's not perfect. I know that things are dumb, but I love this movie. God, I love this movie.
Yeah, I do too. I feel like something after the 90s changed, like that kind of attitude. Like the 80s had an attitude, the 70s had an attitude, the 90s had an attitude. Early 2000s had an attitude, and then once the teens started coming, it kind of seems to have leveled off for mainstream type films. Like there's not as much. I think
a lot of that also though is the political climate, and I mean it is what it is. After it's a higher sense of awareness, like of less patience with people that should know better kind of a thing, and it's just not as cutesy anymore, and like there hasn't been the last good comedy I can think of, and I like raunchy comedies, but I like all comedies, but the last really good comedy I can think of is We Are the Millers. And the We Are the Millers came out, I want to say in like 16, 17, where I can't believe, maybe it was earlier than, maybe it was 14, but anyway, that's probably my last good.
I'd go before that, and I would say my last good comedy that I enjoyed was Pineapple Express. Like everything after that, I haven't really connected with.
What's up, Kevin? Kevin's in the house. John Leguizamo. I know he's B-list, and he'll probably always be B-list, but I love his stand-up. I love him in Too Long Fu, Mario Brothers. I love him in Executive Decision.
Man,
he's good in everything.
I need his character more in John Wick. Dude is hilarious. Yeah, I'll have it done by Christmas 2025.
I even liked him in Kick-Ass in the first one.
Oh, that's getting a reboot from what I read, by the way.
I don't think you needed another one, but I would definitely take another one.
I don't feel like it needs a reboot or a sequel, really. I don't know. Like, the first one's really good. The second one's mediocre.
I really enjoy the second one. I think it helps the character of Kick-Ass, and I think it fleshes out the character of Hit Girl. I like all the other would-be superheroes. I like how the generic people are trying to get in on it too. I don't know. It was okay, but yeah, I don't think you need a third. Dude, his makeup is so good, and I love how they keep him in shadow just for a little bit. And the more you see him, the crazier he gets. I guess it took 2 hours to get him into costume, and one time he literally just peed himself because he didn't want to deal with it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would. Man, the cut scenes where they do the fire between the scenes is still so jarring. Like, I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, what's happening? And even still, every time it does it, I'm like, oh.
That's why this movie leans so heavily into comic book feels. I don't know why they didn't put that sheen on it.
Yeah.
I don't know how Michael Jai White wasn't bigger. Like, I'm not saying he's a big dramatic actor, but that is a good-looking dude. He's ripped out of his mind, and he knows like serious karate or martial arts. Like, I just don't understand how he didn't take off more.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of underground and B-rated like martial arts films over the years, and I know that I've read a lot that he's been either really hard or really fun to work with. So I don't know. I don't know. I really do think he could have been bigger.
I can't reach it, but he replaces Ving Rhames in Undisputed 2. Ving Rhames. I can't say his name right now, but he's a boxer, and he goes up against Wesley Snipes in jail. So Ving Rhames is the heavyweight champion, and Wesley Snipes was an old champion, and they fight. Michael Jai White takes his place, the character, in the second movie, and in the third, I believe. I've seen the second. I own the third, haven't seen it, but no, just in the second movie. But the second one's really good with him in it. Really good action.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen those in forever.
He was in a couple of things, but I can't think of it right at the moment. Like I like how it shows, like, I don't know if you can see, but this is the first time I watched it on high definition, but her gun is actually, it showed the red dot, so it's off safety, ready to go. It's pretty cool. It's a little touch.
Yeah. I always thought, what an ashtray. Like, come on.
Yeah. We sneaky. Right after we do this last operation.
But I mean, it's to be expected. Like, this is going to be your last job.
It was well played, though.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, Keith David voiced Spawn for all the animated stuff and the video games and all that, which, oddly enough, I don't have a transitional issue with Keith David's Spawn and this Spawn at the same time. I always found it jarring to go back and forth between Batman. I'm blanking. Oh my
Kevin
God.
Conroy?
Yes, Kevin Conroy and like Michael Keaton. But for some reason, I didn't have the issue with these two gentlemen.
I'll tell you who would be a really good Candyman, and this is kind of a cop out, and like it's kind of this thing where it's like Tom Hardy for everything kind of a thing. But I can't remember the guy's name. It's Ali. I can't remember. My bad. But the guy who was in the newest Candyman, he would be a good Spawn. He'd be a great Al Simmons.
He's kind of doing a lot now. He's popped up in that trailer with that Jake Gyllenhaal dude, the heist movie.
Well, he was just in the Matrix Resurrections.
Yeah, and I've heard rumor that he's already been scoped out by DC and Marvel.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, he was already in Marvel, right? He's Black Manta.
Yes, he is. That's right.
I got to get his name right. It's like I can memorize it for about 10 minutes and then it's gone. It's just...
Yeah.
This also has an Under Siege feel to it a little bit too.
Yeah, they did a good job of like taking the comic book world and like the 80s action world and blending them. I think that's what adds to the cheesiness, but for some reason it works. It blends.
I like how they said like earlier, like no fear. Like, yeah, here's this guy that's been shot a bunch of times and now he's on fire and he's still not really freaking out. He's like, oh no, my arm's on fire.
Yeah. Some bad CGI again.
Yeah.
But overall, not terrible. Because they blended this one. This is practical with CG. Now bad CG.
Yeah. But again, this is hell, right? So I mean, it wouldn't look real, right? It can look like whatever weirdness it wants to. I mean, to a degree, you could argue that to make it feel better.
Yeah, but I don't wanna.
Yeah, the practical effects of this movie are really good. Like the burns and stuff like that. And the yellow eyes.
God, John Leguizamo's dental work for this.
Yeah. When he's on his knees, like the whole movie, like that would hurt after a while, regardless if he had like knee pads or whatever. This really does make me want to watch like The Crow or '89 Batman.
Yep.
It's a good shot right there with the
crazy?
pig gargoyle thing.
Yeah. This movie and this character and this whole development was so influenced by everything around it, and for some reason it's not one of those things that you feel like is a blatant ripoff. It's like it takes so many little things from everything and blends them into its own world perfectly.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of sad to see if Spawn ever does get another movie. I'm worried that it won't do the same thing, you know?
If they don't double down on it, it'll kill it forever. Like if they don't double down and really do it right, like not that I'm not saying anything bad about this movie. I'm just saying that if you don't come out making it look like a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, it'll kill it forever. Yeah. I mean, well, it'll kill it for another 20 years.
Yeah. That green glow was super cheesy. Oh man,
it's kind of cool though. It plays with the supernatural because the eyes glow, right? They have the steam.
Yeah. Side note, we are in the alley and Marilyn Manson's Long Hard Road Out of Hell is playing. I do not condone the person that Marilyn Manson became, but Marilyn Manson's music was a huge influence on my life growing up. And my brothers and my cousins, and we all just, I remember when this song came out in the music video in this movie, that was like a huge driving factor in wanting to see the movie in theaters.
Yeah. Well, and not that I'm like the biggest Marilyn Manson fan on the planet, but it's still like he said, she said kind of thing right now, isn't it? Like it's like, you know what I mean? Like it's not. Is it that bad? I don't know.
It's bad.
It's like the Danny Masterson thing. Like I want some proof or like, or I don't know. Like let's.
So I don't know. Years ago, Manson was like publicly announcing that he's collecting Nazi memorabilia. It's known that Manson has like a punishment room that he would put guests and stuff in, that some of these women are claiming that he would lock them in. And even people who used to work with Manson, like touring and stuff, have come out and said, yeah, no, these allegations are real. I saw it. I just didn't know what to do about it at the time. So,
yeah,
I mean,
stuff like
I'm
that,
not
man,
surprised.
Stuff like that, man, with like the BDSM and the
sucks.
control and all that. Like, I get it if you're into that. That's awesome. To me, it always makes me nervous that a line could be crossed, and just because it's, you know, it's one of those things where like you keep pushing the envelope, and I mean it's all about communication and honesty and everything else, which is fine. But to me, I'm always worried that like just like if you listen to the Leaving Neverland thing with Michael Jackson, like people that are groomed. Well, were you really into that, or were you groomed by this superstar to be into it at that time, but then you weren't? And you know what I'm saying? Like, especially in the 90s and stuff like that. That kind of stuff makes me nervous. Side note, speaking of crazy, horrible people, not that anyway, was this kind of a thing to John Wayne, to John Gacy, to Gacy? Because it feels like it looks just like it. Okay, I thought so. I didn't do any research on it. I meant to.
This is also in the comic and in the animated film. In the animated film, it's my personal favorite. He shows up to the birthday party in an ice cream truck, and he's so freaky looking. And it is like the makeup and stuff, and this makeup here, it's as close to John Wayne Gacy as you can get without actually being Gacy, you know? And it just worked for the creep factor. And again, that's another moment of Todd McFarlane taking influence from historical events or other things that it works.
I figured it was too spot on to not be, but I couldn't. I didn't want to be like dirt, you know. But yeah,
yeah.
Like look at him. He's got a whiskey in one hand. He's smoking weed in the next.
And talking about how he's got more tricks than your local hooker. Good Lord.
What's up, Kevin? Oh, if that was just a second ago, man, we were just talking about Manson and the person he's become, and if it's real, if it's circumstantial, he said, she said stuff. Just kind of curious on, you know, and we got kind of deep for a split second on like BDSM stuff and like grooming and just the scary nature of I don't know, of all of it, that, you know, if it goes wrong, it goes real wrong, I think, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That what do you call it? The facial hair, the goatee is so 90s.
Mm-hmm. Just the perfect trim, but it goes narrow at the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Back in like 2007 to like 2012, I had like long sideburns down to here, and then I had this down here. It's not good. My mother-in-law hated it. That's probably why I
I had
kept
the
it for an extra
mutton
5 years.
chops. I did mutton chops because I could never grow this in here. That took forever, so I looked like something from the 70s.
Yeah. I don't care how much you like your best friend, man. Like, you come back and your wife married your best friend, you're gonna be a little upset.
Yep.
I love this
God,
rambling.
I love this scene.
Yeah.
Yes.
The pace sucks.
Fat and ugly, but the pace sucks.
Eating donuts and that was definitely not in the theatrical release.
God. See, great casting choice. John Leguizamo.
So good. I just, once again, don't know why he didn't take off either. Forever B-list.
Hospital.
Yeah.
Couldn't put you back together again. Pushing up daisies. Permanent
Pushing up daisies.
You're sinking in. You're dead. D-E-D. Dead.
D-E-D. Dead. The jacket with the flames, that's really cool too. Like just the, I don't know. I don't know why. It's just kind of a cool touch for his ensemble.
Yeah. And we're in PlayStation World.
Yeah. Come on.
Man, that's rough. Poor Malbolgia.
Yeah. I like
And
how he's always like pushing mountains away. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
What kind of a threat is dying to somebody who's already dead? That's one thing. That's one problem I always had.
Well, I mean, eternity of torture probably wouldn't be fun.
Yeah.
Little death, little destruction. Perfect marriage. I just love how loud and obnoxious he is and just never stops.
He feels like he's inspired by a demonic Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah. And I'm Clarence.
Catch the wings and no. Twins.
Oh, that was nice.
Can I dig up my body now?
This is where old folks go after Florida. uh, that's pretty messed up, making you dig up your own, grave, like
Grave.
your own casket. Ugh. Again, so 90s.
Yep. God, this movie. I can't get over the choices that were made. Like, I can see why people went to see it and didn't like it. Like, if they weren't fans of the source material or hadn't heard of it. But it really does captivate that 90s vibe so well.
Yeah, I think the problem is like it took itself seriously, but the CGI kind of rips you out of some of the scenes. John Leguizamo kind of rips you out of some of it. Like some of this is like really really dark, but it's kind of flashy, so it's the tones are a little off. I love it for what it is, but for the average person, the tones are a little off, I think.
Yeah.
This right here, though, when he transforms and the whole suit comes on, I was like, God, that's cool.
Right? Like Satan send you guys?
Uh-oh. Yeah. I love when he's like, for the eensy price of your soul and a buttload of pay.
Right?
The suit's so awesome, though.
It is. For an on-screen suit, like superhero suit and transition and all that, for the time, that's my favorite.
Oh, dude.
Like,
that could be
it looks so
top 10
awesome.
superhero suits of all time.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Stupid train just kept running over you.
Spawn! Who the hell's on me?
Duke of Deep Fried.
Crispy. Duke of Deep Fried. League of Ooey Gooey. Dude, me and my cousin would watch this movie so much, and we would just literally quote out all of his lines, laughing hysterically the whole time. Ooh, that's you. You have to use the G word.
Man, seeing this in high definition, you can kind of see more of like the color changes in the suit and like I don't know, like the muscle tissue kind of looking thing. I don't know, it's kind of cool. Of course, I'm paying more attention now to like details than probably ever have.
Yeah.
Don't play with it. God, he fits that suit like a boss. Dude, this is so gross. That's real. That's real right now.
Yep. I remember when I learned that, I was like, wow, that's commitment.
And right now he's throwing up. Like literally, he threw up. That's so gross. Like, dude, I don't know how much money you'd have to pay me.
I don't know. I wonder, because I don't know if he pulled a Candyman thing where he was like, for each time I puke, I get X amount of dollars, but I would have.
For each maggot I eat, I get 1,000.
Right?
$2,500 ago. Jeez.
I just keep picturing Ryan Reynolds in the first Deadpool where he's like Freddy Krueger fucked a topographical map of Utah like a testicle with teeth.
Like an avocado had sex with another avocado. Like an angry. It was not gentle. Yeah. That'd be a good crossover. Yeah, Deadpool with Spawn. Would be fun.
Imagine Deadpool getting Spawn's powers on top of his stuff. There's gonna be more. There will be. Maybe we could actually get a Venom pool now that, after Spider-Man. Maybe. Yeah. It could happen.
Yeah, that'd be there's so much, like, it's so funny. Like, Marvel can print money any second they want to. They can literally just, you put Deadpool in anything and it's going to make you millions, if not billions.
Yeah.
I can't believe the new Spider-Man is blowing up. I mean, I knew it would do well. I mean, it's Christmas, holiday, I knew it was going to do well. I didn't know it was going to be this well. Like, holy crap, people.
Who remembers those mini discs?
Right. They were a thing for about 5 minutes.
No, Spider-Man. All right. Spider-Man did really well, and I'm glad it did. I still haven't seen Matrix, but I have heard many not good things. I've heard some people liked it, but the main thing I've heard is that it was completely unnecessary, which is kind of what I thought it was going to be. No, the new Matrix.
I mean, the new Matrix. I'm sorry. I mean, it's. Here's my thing. It doesn't betray any characters, and the story's okay. It expands on what you can for over time, and it kind of gives you a different aspect of certain things. Overall, I thought it was okay. It didn't offend me. It didn't betray anything, so I thought it was okay. I'll say that the sound design
I have really
is
low
amazingly spot on.
Yeah. Can we just talk about whatever happened to these kind of montage scenes where the action hero gets all the guns and like the hard rock music playing? Like, dude, I feel like this is where it ended. Like, after this, you don't really get those. Like,
right.
And it's sad.
Yeah.
Like when the Terminator goes into that bunker in T2, that is my all-time favorite. Like, that is just perfect. Perfect.
Right. He's holding up the Gatling gun, and John's like, yep, it's totally you. Yeah. I love the scene where in From Dusk Till Dawn, where they get locked in the back room, the storage room, and they have to go through all that, and they get loaded up there, and they kick open the door. That's cool.
That's a really good one. God, I haven't watched that movie in a while. I think I
bought the 4-pack on Blu-ray. It's one of my recent buying fiascos. Bro, I'm gonna do a video on this Hitchcock collection. It's absolutely beautiful. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. I sadly, I don't have a whole lot going on figure or movie-wise that's really worth going over. Maybe Scream Factory H5, maybe I could go into a couple of my recent purchases and talk about like their importance to me, no matter how good or bad the film is. Like Session 9 or um, uh, Darkness Falls or stuff like that. But I haven't done a whole lot lately.
Dude, if
Just
anything,
between
it'd be
money
cool to
and
just
time, it just
it'd be cool if you just watch the Doctor Death scene from Halloween 5 and just do a little write up on that and like if you think it helps or hurts the movie in your opinion and like, you know, what you would have done, just like that would be something I would love to read just because you're a big defender of 5 and 6 and not that I'm not. I'm just saying that you know, you have a I don't know, I think it'd be really interesting to read.
I did watch it. Sadly, it's not attached to the movie. It is a special feature.
I know.
Which
I told you. I knew it wasn't going to be.
Sucks.
Oh.
But I think if they would have made that as the opening, I think it would have helped, honestly. But
they should have given you.
It would at least give some.
They should have given you 2 variants. They should have given you the original cut, and then they should have given you the. Name it whatever you want to name it, but it needs to be clear as day. This is the original, and this is the blah blah blah. Like, yeah, they should have given you both.
Yep. I agree.
Good thing John Leguizamo really ratchets the tension, like here in a little bit when he goes ham, and then like his character on screen because Martin Sheen's doing his best, and he's doing a good job being a smug, rich, kind of, you know, conniving, whatever. But it's not enough to hold the villain of the movie. And Malebolgia is not doing anything in this movie, so I think John Leguizamo. I don't think anybody could have done better in this role. And then Priest, the guy who plays Priest, she's she's awesome.
Speaking of Sheen / Estevez, so this is going out of the woodwork here, but I was today years old when I found out that there was a film for That Was Then, This Is Now. I'd always known about the Outsiders movie, and I grew up reading Outsiders and That Was Then, This Is Now, and I always loved That Was Then, This Is Now more. And now I need to go find the movie because it's got Morgan Freeman, and I had no idea it existed until today. And my mind was blown. Absolutely blown. I had no clue.
The Outsiders?
No, That Was Then, This Is Now, which takes place in the... It's a book that comes after... I've seen The Outsiders. It's a really good movie, but That Was Then, This Is Now takes place in the same like world, but it's a different set of characters.
Sorry, you froze on my end.
And that was my favorite S.E. Hinton book.
Yeah, sorry, man. It froze for a second.
I just found out
he came out through the thing, and it was loud as hell. I can't remember it. Does this Sienna is she Simmons' daughter or is she Spawn's daughter? Okay.
I believe so.
I don't think it actually answers it. I mean, he's been dead for 5 years, and was that her 5th birthday party?
Could be.
Because if it was her 5th birthday party, that would be his kid.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't really need to take aim. The straps are just going to hold it right there so she can hip fire. It's like Doom almost.
Man, she played Call of Duty before it was a game.
Right. She's got steady aim on, dual wield, extended mags, rapid fire. She's ready to go. I love that. Yeah, the crotch block.
Yep. I love how Violator walks in.
Yeah. She was supposed to come back as a Spawn herself. That would have been sweet.
Mm-hmm. They did good with the like for the time the eye movement in the with when his face is covered.
Yeah. I like how there's holes in the mask that kind of make it. It makes it look cool, but you know he needed it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love the change and the suction stuff. It's just so cool.
I also like that this movie wasn't afraid to do the thing where as he's learning things, he's like, "Holy shit! Oh, this is awesome!"
Right.
Like when he's sitting on the floor and his wounds heal, and he just goes, "Damn!" Like I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, that all the information wasn't like automatically downloaded to his head. Like he has to learn on the way. Yeah. It also gives, this, yeah, the character and the ability some time to breathe. And that's so cool that it even has a cloaking device built
Yeah,
into the cape.
it's awesome.
Yeah. Got an M60. The guy off the horse or whatever has got his color guard rifle. Like it's just so weird and random. It's funny.
Oh, that CG's rough. Oh, that's really rough. It
It really
sucks that
doesn't
the
look.
cape is
I
so
mean,
rough on the CG.
it doesn't look that bad on the Blu-ray. But on the Blu-ray, they might have actually gone back over and redone all the special effects because I believe on most Blu-ray transfers, I mean, unless you just copy paste, which is crappy. If you actually do high definition on everything else, you have to go back in and redo, or you're supposed to go back in and redo the special effects. So it looked okay. I mean, it looked
Yeah.
sheeny and glossy, but it was okay. Is sheeny a word? Is that okay?
I feel like we
Sounds
keep
not good to
saying
say.
sheen because there's a sheen.
It could be. Yeah, that's a new word now. Syphilitic.
No.
It's poetic. He's a pretty good manipulator for, backing up there to let Wynn kind of, have the upper hand for a second, coaxing him into it.
Yeah. And I am kind of sad that this didn't get to go into the heaven stuff, like the comics, the games, and the series, because they really do dive into the fact that Simmons was wanted by both sides because he was a talented killer. And that, I think that adds a really, really, really cool aspect to it.
Yeah, this kind of makes it seem like that Heaven's just kind of on the sidelines. Like,
yeah.
that would suck to have to hear.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I always have wanted his trench coat here. Like, and I've seen some costume makers build them and they are super expensive. But I always thought, like, I know it's
Yeah,
supposed to look like it's just pieced together from stuff on the streets, but it looks cool.
yeah. No, yeah, it looks thick too. God, he had to be burning up.
Yeah. Hobo Myers before Hobo Myers.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Is there am I missing any comments? I feel bad if I am because I don't see any.
The last thing I got is what's up. That's it.
Okay. Okay, cool. I just the way you said Hobo Myers to the camera,
If
it looked
y'all
like
are in
you
here,
mentioned
feel
one.
free to say hi. No.
This is funny too. He's in the cheerleader outfit.
Sorry, guys, if you. So Spawny, he's our man. If you can't do it, no one can. Yeah, Spawny. S to the P to the A to the on. S to the P to the A to the on. Go Spawny. Go Spawny. God, I know this word by word. Yeah, if there's anybody in here and you're commenting, I am sorry that we are missing it.
Yeah, I can't see it, guys. Sorry, I've been keeping an eye on it just in case.
And that's exactly the kind of talk.
God. Like they could have at least darkened it up in here a little bit. Like if your effects aren't good, just darken it up. Don't brighten it up.
Like, I think that's a weird thing that happened in quite a few movies around this time. Like, it wasn't until a few years later that they realized that you could darken it up and hide some of it and show just enough to be scary. And
Right.
man, it would have really helped that.
I'm gonna say that that's definitely Simmons's daughter because I mean you're gonna grieve at least I would hope 2 months, 6 months, not judging, but for them to get together and have a kid that fast, I mean she might be 4. I don't know. I wish I would have paid attention to the birthday. I want to say she said 5.
I don't know.
The upcoming motorcycle scene where he like the cape becomes like the armored shell thing was so cool.
I love the smell of burning asphalt in the morning. God, I love this movie.
No kid, at least not my kids, would leave the dog behind without a total meltdown.
Yeah.
Like my kid drops a teddy bear on the ground that he can literally pick up. He'd have a meltdown sometimes. Like, Like I got my kids, I gave him my cinnamon twist from Taco Bell. That's how much I love him. And I put it in a bowl, and he started eating. He's like, I didn't want all of them. I was like, you don't have to eat all of them, buddy. Like I just gave them to you. Eat what you want. And he freaked out for about 2.5 minutes, and then went and finished them off. So I don't know what the real problem was, but is this the same kid from A New Nightmare, or is this the kid from a remake of The Omen? I think it's Omen, isn't it?
Um,
Can't remember the kid's
I
name.
don't think that's the kid from Omen. I don't know what all movies he's in, but I know his face.
If I saw his name, this is how I got through college, was multiple choice. If I saw a multiple choice thing, I would know.
I love how he's just got his little dog following him.
Mm-hmm. Well, he got this together quick, didn't he?
My
Couple
thought
million.
about
Need you to
this.
put this next to my heart.
Yeah. My thought about this is
I
like,
mean,
what happens if he just like accidentally like his heart skips a beat? Like,
right.
oops.
Yeah. He kills hundreds of thousands. Well, my thing is like it'd be open heart surgery, right? Like so, like he wouldn't be moving around very freely for the next 6 months. Two to four
Right.
at least.
I love that little attic hiding spot in that temple.
Pretty cool. This is where we go over gun safety, so the hobo kid doesn't go up there trying to steal one for food or play with them.
Yeah.
Nothing against hobo kids. It's like they just didn't know how to transition. And so they're like, well, we'll just do this.
Right? What doctor's like, yeah, I'm going to make you so we can't kill you, but you're also not immortal?
Right.
Huh. I don't
Yeah, they
see
should have
this
had
as
some like.
problematic.
Yeah, they should have had some guys in the room with like guns on them, or like a little. You know how like the Joker breaks in Suicide Squad and he puts the tablet up to the window with like somebody holding the doctor or the whoever guy's family hold him something to, not just hey I gave you $1 million so you know we'll kill hundreds of thousands, it's all good.
Right?
This training montage is short, but it's pretty awesome.
It really is.
Can you imagine if Tim Burton would have directed this like they wanted? Completely weird, different movie.
Would have been crazy.
Kind of glad they didn't.
Yeah.
Serious? God. That was not in the theater. I know exactly where they went rated R and all of the lost footage from the theater.
Right?
It almost feels like there's like a CGI overlay over the blue because it's almost like bright, like extra bright. I don't know. It looks great. Take
Arm ears and shove it.
I don't know why. As a kid, that always got me. I don't know why it was so funny.
Same.
It's so weird that as soon as a dog is in danger, you get emotionally wrecked. Or at least I do.
Yeah. Around. Or the vibrator.
It reminds me of V for Vendetta, where he goes through like all the different V words.
Right.
I mean, it's a rough transitioning, but it's not that bad. I don't mind it. The lightning really helps with the CGI transformation, kind of break it up.
Violator looks it good for the 100 times better than Malebolgia.
Oh yeah, night and day. Like they shouldn't even have showed it. Like if it was going to be that bad.
Yeah.
It's kind of too bad that John Leguizamo didn't have voice also as the Violator, like the monster form. I mean, you don't need it, but it just kind of I don't know. I think it would have added something.
Yeah, he had in the cartoon, it's a much darker voice. It's less comic relief than is in this film.
You think they just felt like they needed some comic relief just for I don't know, just for the PG-13 rating for...
Could be.
I don't know, for the target audience?
It could very well be.
Spawn doesn't need guns, but man, does he look cool with all the like jagged edge like assault rifles and shotguns and stuff like that. It just looks so cool.
Right.
Well, yeah.
How does that disappear?
Does his dad live? Yeah. Can't remember. Does the dad live or?
I don't remember.
Can't remember. I think he died. He ain't moving right now.
You know, his head, the way it is, like a little bit larger to accommodate the suit, makes me think of Star Kid. Did you ever see that movie?
Yeah, where he comes out of the robot thing, the alien robot thing. Dude, as a kid, that was an awesome movie. I haven't seen that in what, 2 decades? Dang. Yeah,
dude,
I love
same
that
here.
Kid.
I did too.
I also get a bit of a Beetlejuice vibe from this, like with the spikes and stuff like that. And I mean, which is fine. I'm not, I'm not taking anything away
Yeah.
from the movie. It's just I love that like this movie pulls in a lot of the movies I love to make it what it is.
Yeah.
There's the Jesus call. Oh, oh, oh. Not in the theater.
Nope.
Ooh, that wasn't there either. Yeah, SUCK. I don't know if that was either, but it's funny.
Right.
I really like his outfit, the Middle Ages with the chainmail and everything. Like, it's so cool.
Yep. I love the upcoming training montage he does with them. It's just really cool. Like, and you don't need your guns.
Right. Dude, I love these like this computer desk. Like we were talking about when we did the Die Hard commentary, the computers that were built into the desks and all that, and the CD-ROMs and stuff like that. It's so cool. I don't know why. I just get a kick out of
Yeah.
all that. I think it's so like trying to be edgy and cool, and I just think it's really cool.
I think it's a staple of our age. Like that was the kind of thing that we thought like was just gonna wind up being staple normal stuff, and it never quite became that because it wasn't necessary for the type of computing that we do like in our daily lives or our jobs. But we always wanted one.
Well, maybe the dad lived. Nope, he
He
died.
did
He
die.
gone. I thought he died. He should have died. You needed something to raise the stakes a little bit, and would have been gnarly if he just bit dude's head off. But once
Yeah.
again, PG-13 in the theaters, that wouldn't fly.
It would have worked.
I'm glad Wesley Snipes didn't do this. If he'd have done this, he'd have missed out on Blade. Oh, I don't want to live in that world.
What if they would have swapped? That would have been weird.
Yeah, Michael Jai White could have definitely done Blade.
That God, that would have been weird though.
Yep. I don't know. I think, yeah, I don't know. I could see him as Blade. I could see it.
Yeah.
But Wesley Snipes made Blade cool. Like he would.
I have trouble with Wesley Snipes as Spawn.
Yeah. Wesley Snipes made Blade cool, like where everybody could kind of like him, and like he was tough, but at the same time, he had a coolness factor to him. He had a little bit of a wit. I don't know. I don't know if Michael Jai White could have got that across. I think he definitely, I think he played a better Spawn than he would have Blade, but I don't know.
Yeah.
like I said, there's a lot of actors I don't obviously know their contracts or their what they're worth or whatever, but definitely wish certain actors would have got more
Yeah,
opportunities.
I agree. That's so awesome.
He used his own chains to tie him up.
Yep.
Great, now get me out of this. Kind of like Green Lantern, kind of like Venom.
Yep. All right, Yoda.
Yeah. Have you ever had dreams where you're trying to do powers and this is how you feel like you got to push to get it to work? I've had dreams like this a lot especially when I was younger. I wonder if that's kind of subconsciously where this comes
No, I
from.
haven't.
My superhero dreams are baller.
I mostly dabble in nightmares, so.
Makes sense.
Which that was apparently going to have a bigger deal in this movie, and they couldn't figure out a way to properly incorporate it because it is a big deal in the comics and in the animated series and in the video games. Like, you can drain your power. Your power is also your source of life.
I think they do a decent job with like the green glow, and when he gets hurt, he you can see the green glow. I think they do a decent job. It's sometimes fitting all that stuff into a movie is kind of tough, especially a movie like this where
Yeah,
there's just hardly any downtime.
right.
I bet John Leguizamo just had a ball.
Imagine getting told, hey, stunt drive this big truck.
Right. And just go off the chain and go crazy. I wonder how much of this was just ad-libbed by him. I mean, some of the dialogue is really weird, so probably not a ton, but like stuff like that, like "Look, Ma, no hands." Like I could see him just spitting that out.
Yeah,
Like just throw him in the
definitely.
driver's seat for an hour and just be like, just go nuts.
Him riding, burning asphalt in the morning. God, I don't know why this movie is so good. Oh my God.
Dude, yeah. This is where the movie like did a line of cocaine. Was like, no, nobody's driving. He's got this grenade launcher. Yeah, the cape coming out, so cool.
Yeah.
I like
Hey,
how it's
that's
got a
not
little
fair.
helmet with eyes at the top. The walking away right here really reminds me of Batman '89 when he blows up the factory and he's standing by the car. I really like this shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the cape is what it is, but I think it's really cool.
This is so cheesy. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's another Die Hard reference. It kind of reminds me of, the ejector seat thing.
Yeah.
Die Hard 2, excuse me. Cool guys don't look at explosions. Like, dude's
just
got a
me,
touch
or does the
screen in
actor who's
97.
playing Terry kind of remind you of Tom Green?
Yeah, I can see that. Who had a better run with their shtick? Was it Tom Green or was it oh, what's his name? Dang it. Oh, I can't think of his name. Pauly Shore. Tom Green or Pauly Shore? Who had a better run movie-wise with their shtick?
Tom Green. He also had his own show, and he hasn't faded into obscurity. He's still got like podcasts, and he still works with a lot of different things. Pauly Shore, on the other hand, kind of fell hard, real hard, and just he started making a joke of himself. I mean, he put out a movie called Pauly Shore's Dead, where he fakes his own death, and it was the movie concept that was supposed to reignite his career, and it is a D movie. Like, it is bad. I mean, I want to own it, but it's a bad movie. And yeah, I think Tom Green definitely had more success.
Did you see the Nicolas Cage movie? That it's Nicolas Cage playing Nicolas Cage, and he's broke, and like there's this millionaire that wants him for his birthday party. He's like, "What's $1 million for an afternoon?" He's like, "All right, where are we going?" That's funny.
I cannot wait to see this. I need that.
Yeah. They should bring Bruce Willis into that.
Oh God. Man, I don't remember it. There was so much happening with all those episodes. I need to go back and revisit some of that stuff. God, it's been ages.
Oh yeah, Jabari said Tom Green. What's up, man?
So you're a little bit late. Yeah. We are actually, Wynn is at Wanda's and Terry's house right now. So we're getting close to the end of the movie, but we both have an absolute love for this movie, no matter how cheesy, bad, and good it is, all wrapped into one.
Well, we saw it we saw it at a really good time in our childhoods. Yeah.
Yeah. John Leguizamo made this
it's just so rock and roll, and like I said, Michael Jai White is just forever underrated. God, I love him. I've never seen him in a movie that wasn't good. Drive Across Concrete was good. Everything I've seen him in, like I said, Exit Wounds, Undisputed 2, everything he's in is phenomenal. But Jory, we were talking about how if they do a new Spawn, the guy, and once again, I can't remember his name, but the guy from the new Candyman should be the new Spawn, like spot on. Like Jamie Foxx is great. I like Jamie Foxx, but I don't know.
I don't know. Michael Jai White still looks pretty young. I say bring him back.
Oh, dude, that'd be sweet. Oh my God, yeah, especially with the makeup and everything. You know that dude's still in phenomenal shape. But I think if you do a remake, or I don't think you do a sequel. I mean, this movie made money, but if you look at all the scores on IMDb and all that other crap, like it's not highly liked these days. You'd almost have to get like some funding from like Netflix or something and do a 3-movie deal.
You would have to Spirit of Vengeance it, where you kind of retcon the first just to like separate yourself.
Well, I mean, but he walks away from Wanda and everything else in this movie, so you could pretty much start fresh with a sequel. You don't need to relive the whole origins again.
Yeah. But I also feel like it's too late to actually do a sequel. I just want him to come back as Spawn because I really like him as Spawn.
Oh God, dude. God, see that after I'm done, not in theaters, man. This thing got. This is very sexual. They also made Wanda like one of the most attractive ladies like in the '90s.
Right?
I saw like recently. I saw her in something, some interview or something. She's still a knockout. 20 whatever plus years later. Crazy. Oh yeah, she played I saw her in well the newest movie I saw her in was Bad Boys for Life because she's obviously uh Martin Lawrence's wife in those movies. One of the favorite things that Michael Jai White was in was for me anyway was the Universal Soldier's Return because he got to have a really good fight scene with Jean Claude Van Damme and it was really awesome to watch for as skilled as they both are.
Yeah, I wish he would get a comeback, but
yeah. God, the Spawn armor, man, it's just some of the coolest thing.
Looks terrible.
Like superhero, whatever. Question: Would you feel? How would you feel if your friend married your wife after you've been murdered by a maniacal millionaire? Yeah, I said that earlier in the thing. I was like, you might love your best friend, but like, you go away or die and come back and your wife or girlfriend married your best friend, you'd be a little upset. No matter how much you love them.
Yep.
I think it hurts more obviously that he has a kid, but it also probably helps heal some wounds because he left something behind, and you know they found some peace together, and I don't know. I think there's some poeticness to it, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, how is that a surprise? There's a green glow coming out of the knife.
Right. Dude, I always thought
and he's still
that
stunned.
too.
He's got red eyes. I think I just first now realized that he's got a ball gag in his mouth, the friend, Terry. This is funny. I always like this. So fat and hairy.
Oh.
Oh.
Apocalypse Now reference.
Yeah. Yeah, John Leguizamo was having way too much fun with this movie. Yeah, some not good CGI right there.
Like, I feel like they were like, do whatever you want.
Tastes like chicken? It's racist. I mean, not that he hasn't said like a bunch of crap that's not good in today's world. But he's a hell demon, so he's not supposed to be politically correct. So I guess it works. But it's just interesting things to think like, would that actually be in a movie in today's, or would that, that wasn't from Quentin Tarantino using anyway.
Yeah, probably not. And
probably not.
God, here we go with the PS1 graphics again.
Oh yeah, it's bad. Like, I will say that some of the twirling fight scenes on the rocks are cool, and like the chains, like the 10,000 chains coming out, it's kind of cool. But yeah, overall this is bad.
God, this is so rough.
Well, and they really worked on this too. It's not like they were being lazy. Like they really put effort into all this, and you're just like, God, but if you spend $5 million and it looks like this, like, are you just committed now? Like, you know what I'm saying? You're pot committed. You have to do this, or could you just? I don't know. This is cool too. Him flying through everything. Yeah. When I was younger, I was like, well, he's dead.
I wonder if that other cut's available anywhere, or if anybody's got any different edits that would show it.
Huh. Yeah, I wonder if, I don't think this is out on 4K. I wonder if they have that out there, I wonder if that'll see the light of day. It's interesting that, this is PG-13 in theaters, but then it was rated R on VHS and Laserdisc and DVD and yada yada. I wonder if Laserdisc had a better transfer of it, just because it seemed like Laserdisc was like the first like boutique kind of thing where they really put extra effort into it, and they had booklets and they had all that other stuff. I wonder if, I don't know. And like I said, every time they remaster this, I wonder if I don't know, should they go back and dump an extra $20 million in it? Oh God, it looks so bad.
All the spawn and oh God, I could count the pixels. Oh man,
it's one of those things where like, do you want somebody to go in and actually like fix the movie, but then it alters the movie? I don't really want that. But just go back and clean it up and make it look better. Like, leave everything the exact same, just make it look better. I don't know. And if you change anything, by God, leave the original, in there, just for history's sake and everything else.
Yeah.
Still a lot of spawns hanging out there. A lot of hell spawns.
That was so rough. Yeah, they should have definitely done something different. But it's funny because that doesn't take away from the enjoyment of the movie for me, which I feel like it totally would in any other more serious film,
Yeah. Yeah, I think also, like I said, seeing it as kids, there's a lot of leeway with it. And kind of just being happy that we actually got this movie. Like, once again, Michael Jai White is the first black superhero for the most part. This first serious black superhero. So, I mean, not that this was I'm not saying it's not a risk. The source material was there, but this is a lot for mid-90s. Where there's not a whole lot of superhero movies to begin with. So I'm just happy this exists, and this helped whatever few, it gave us more Spawn. It gave us, probably helped Blade come out. Like, I don't know. I'm just happy this movie exists, because I could definitely see something like this, just a venture that nobody ever took.
Yeah.
But New Line, God, you got to say, New Line, man, they took risks. I mean, at this time, I can't remember. I don't think Lord of the Rings had come out, but they were working on Lord of the Rings. Like, all the money they pumped in Lord of the Rings, like the years they put into it, the detail work, like New Line Cinema, they were taking risks and really going for it.
Well, I mean, technically they owe their company to Freddy Krueger, so I would hope that they would take some risks.
Right, yeah, the house that Freddy built, yeah. This New Line still owns the rights to Friday the 13th, right? Or no, it went back to, never mind. Well, do they still own some of the rights? Or did it go back to Sean? I don't remember. It's so convoluted and jacked up. Yoink!
At this point, I'm just like, it'll be cool if anything ever happens, but I don't know. Oh, well, these Sean's chains
80,
look bad.
Right? Yeah. Sean's 80. Like, if
probably
everybody has to agree and come to a decision to make a Friday the 13th movie. And I mean, I don't know if we'll ever get one, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
The head thing with the tongue is so weird. See, he used his power, cut his head off, he's dying.
Yeah.
God, that suit's sweet. God, that's cool.
Really is.
I mean, I'm gonna say I like the '89 Batman suit better because it's my favorite movie. But I mean, at the time, this blew everything away. I mean, up until like the original Iron Man, I'd say this is probably the coolest superhero suit.
Yeah.
I can't believe I didn't own this movie, man. Like, when you were like, we should watch this, I was like, oh yeah. And then like I ran through my brain library of movies, and I was like, I don't think I own that. It blew me away. I can't believe I didn't own this movie.
Man, I used to have it on VHS too. I really, really like this movie, and I think there's knowing what it is and what you're in for really helps. I do think it's probably going to miss a generation or two before it gets its like credit back. I feel like those of us who were raised with it will really enjoy it, but I don't see anybody like, teenagers now really getting into a movie like this that often. It kind of misses the mark, but I could see it in a generation or two coming back.
Yeah, I could see if they do a new like CGI cartoon or whatever, or if the sequel actually does come out, some old nostalgia level, will come back for it. But yeah, like I said, I just love it for what it is. There's a lot of movies that I'm amazed they ever got made, and Spawn is definitely one of them. I mean, I know there's a lot of love and a lot of money behind it. Like the comic was a huge hit and everything. I get that, but still, I mean, start off a budget at $20 million and go up to 48, or excuse me, Yeah, 20 and to go up to 40. You more than doubled down on it. Like you were like, okay, I'll put in 20, and then it went up. I mean, it made $84 million, so it almost doubled its budget. But the rule of thumb in movie making and everything else is that a movie usually needs to make 3 times its budget to get a sequel. But they planned on a trilogy, but there's not a whole lot of information on it, and it didn't sound like it was actually gonna. Yeah, I don't think people would have been into it. It would have been kind of funky and weird, but anyway. But yeah, God, man.
I think it was better that the series was a trilogy. I feel like Todd McFarlane struggles to get any project up and running off the ground. From his new wave of figures to Spawn. I mean, I can't tell you how many failed Spawn projects have been on the books over the years, because I followed it. I wanted to know. I wanted to see something happen, and it never did. And I've read so many different articles of him spouting off that, oh, this is going to be the thing, or we're going to do it this way, or it's going to happen now, or it's going to happen then, and it just never gets off the ground for one reason or another. And I think most of the reason is it's hard to make something that screams mid-late 90s, early 2000s this hard. I mean, if you think of Spawn, you think armed to the teeth, loud music, cursing. Like it's that angst of the mid-late 90s, early 2000s, and I feel like it's going to be hard to bring that more modern.
Well, and I think we've seen. I think there's two big things that kind of stop it. Is number one is that I heard kind of McFarlane's kind of difficult to work with, where it's his baby. He wants what he wants, which is how this movie got made. You know, he sold the rights for $1, and then they gave him full creative rights, and then he got profits off of the back end and merchandise and everything else. So that's it's kind of difficult. Like in today's world, like we were talking about, there's agendas. You got to play it safe. And that leads me into the other thing is that you can look at it today. Look at superhero movies. Look at DC, where they go dark, and for the most part, they just miss. You know what I'm saying? And then if you look at Marvel, they play it safe. I mean, there's some twists and turns throughout, and they spice it up here and there, but for the most part, it's very formulaic. It's very safe. It's the same thing with you look at Jason Blum, right? Like he kind of reminds me of oh crap, what's the name of the studio in 2010, 2009? Anchor Bay, not Anchor Bay. Dang, what was it? The studio that was doing Friday the 13th,
Twisted Pictures. Massacre.
No, it wasn't Twisted Pictures. God dang it! Wow, I'm drawing a blank. Anyway.
Dune.
Dune. No. Wow, we can't move on. I got. Like, how do I not? You just have a brain block sometimes. Something Dunes. Something Dunes.
Platinum Dunes.
Wow, I don't have. Platinum Dunes, thank you. God, sorry, big pause there. But it's like Platinum Dunes where they hit real hard with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then with each release they kind of played it safer, right? Like you look at Texas, right? Completely different, right? Similar but different. Did its own thing. Then you go to Friday the 13th, they put 1 through 4 in there, kind of played it safe, did their own thing, made their own movie. But then you look at Nightmare on Elm Street, they just did a copy-paste for the most part, spiced it up a little bit, and they kind of kept going downhill. The same thing's happening with Blum right now, kind of going downhill because you start off spicy and you play it safe for the box office dollars and to get sequels and everything else. It's the same thing with this. Like, there's not a lot of money in things that aren't a guarantee. You know what I mean? Like, look at Friday the 13th again. Like, first movie made X amount of dollars, and then they doubled the budgets and kept getting less returns, but it was a guarantee, so they kept pumping in the money until they sold the rights off after 8 to New Line Cinema.
My cousin and I always kind of joked about what they would do next with this one, with Spawn specifically, and my money was on Dark Ages Spawn. His money was on a timeline that gave us an angelic Spawn, like Redeemer or something like that. And sadly, none of that is going to be what happens. I almost guarantee you within the next 5 to 10 years, we will see something Spawn, and it is going to be directly from Todd McFarlane, and it's not going to be, it's going to do like this. People who like Spawn will like it, and it still won't appeal to the masses because it's just a little too niche for the people. And I don't think it'll get a big, wide release like a Marvel film. I think it'll probably be something more like, Netflix or HBO Max with a limited theatrical release. And that kind of sucks. Kind of sucks.
It's something where it's kind of like the Karate Kid, where people are going to watch it, right? But it's not enough to where you can put it in theaters and it's going to make big bucks. But when it's on Netflix and it's right there and it's in front of everybody and you're like, well, I'm going to get to that. You know what I mean? And you actually are going to get to that. I feel like it just would do a lot better on an HBO Max or a Netflix, but we'll have to wait and see. I hope they do something with it. Once again, there's a lot teetering on the future of superhero movies because they just seem to be going downhill, and superhero fatigue is in there now. It just seems like, and it just seems like Sony is a lot to blame with it too, with like Venom and like Morbius that we're gonna see here, and like just overdoing it. Like they don't know how to calm down and just tell the good story and like get a couple good action shots. They don't know how to. They just overdo everything. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know.
Our market is oversaturated with superhero films at the moment, and honestly, I think that the best time for Spawn to come out would have been around the time of Deadpool, the first Deadpool. Unfortunately, I do think there's never going to be a great time for a Spawn movie. Just like I said, it's kind of niche, but I think it's going to happen when it's so oversaturated and we're all so tired of superhero movies that we just don't. And with Morbius and the new Blade and the direction that Spider-Man No Way Home took everything and the direction that our new Avengers is going in and all that, it's not nearly as appealing. And I think the same way with DC and what they're doing. And, I keep seeing people posting about the fact that the new Batman trailer looks so good and we're going to be able to continue something with that instead, or maybe because other characters were confirmed for Flashpoint that Snyderverse will still continue, but maybe it'll be in animation form. And it's like, if you make it this complicated, if you continue to make it this complicated, people aren't going to flock to it near as much. Yeah, I think it's oversaturated. It's much like horror was in the 80s, where it was just like there's so much and so little time that it just kind of got exhausting.
Right. Well, and then it got all about remakes and it kind of got lazy and yeah. Yeah, and 10 years, fatigue. It's like, okay, we've got everything we need. Yeah, I'm kind of over it, but this was fun. Super enjoyed this. God, I love this movie. There's something about the 90s, like we were talking about, like you had 1978's Superman, right? You had 89 Batman. You had those. You had like the Punisher with Lundgren, and you had the hang on, do I have it right here? Hold on. Please hold. I had it. I moved it. Wait. You had these two guys that nobody watched, nobody cared about. But you didn't have a whole lot of superhero variety in the 90s. You had Ninja Turtles, but I think it's just because we were yearning for that larger than life universe that this movie just grabbed me as a kid. And I think like you were talking about earlier, like kids today, like now you've seen everything. You've seen all the possibilities, not all the possibilities, but you've seen all the grand cinematic superhero blah blah blah. So you don't understand why, for some of us who were younger, why this movie was so special. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I wish more people had love for this movie, but we love it, and I'm glad that it was nice to hang out with you, with somebody else, because most people I talk to were just like, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it's funny because when I made the recommendations I did, it really is kind of a honor my cousin, and Spawn really was one of the movies that we just, I mean, I'm pretty sure we wore out a VHS copy of it, if not his DVD too. And, we watched that so much. We were super into Spawn, and it just, I don't understand why more people didn't like it or enjoy it. I mean, I kind of see it like if you, like you were talking about, the difference in tone, like being super dark to super funny, like it doesn't really match. I mean, I feel like it kind of goes along with nowadays versus then, like it's easier to accept a tonal shift like that in today's world than it is back then. But I don't know. That's difficult to dissect.
The thing that bugs me is, like, it's not like with some movies, it's not like you had to dangle the carrot all the way to the end of the movie. Like, say 2017 Power Rangers, you had to dangle the carrot all the way to the end of the movie, and then they got their powers, and it was a CGI blow up fest because you wasted, you spent all your budget the last 15 minutes or 15% of the movie. This is a movie that had a monster budget for mid 90s, and it's not like something where if you would have slow dangled it and slow played it, maybe in the next movie it would have been better because you'd have more money. No. This thing had plenty of money. It's just frustrating that, some tightening here and there. Once again, why would you have New Line Cinema is weird, man. Like, you had Rennie Harlan, who was homeless basically, and you gave him Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4. This one, you have a guy who is directed, from what I understand, nothing. You had him direct this movie you pumped $48 million into. Like, what were you thinking? Like, the director is like the coach of a football team, right? Like, you have to have a great coach to have a great football team. Like, it doesn't matter if you have a good quarterback, Michael J. White or Wesley Snipes or whoever you would have got. Like, I mean, I just don't understand. Like, that's the thing that blows me away, is why did you have a first-time director on a big property like this, a pretty big property? That's the only weird thing. I like the movie, but I think that's where they kind of fumbled it, and you could see where they needed to tighten it up a little bit. Also, going from R to PG-13 really screwed them because they had to dice up the movie and like resubmit it like 16 times to finally get a PG-13 rating. But anyway, just rambling now. But it's just kind of like, dang, like, yeah.
My favorite resubmittal story is RoboCop, hands down. I love how many times they had to submit it to get an R rating. That's just ridiculous. Oh God, I love that.
Dude, story. I've been jonesing to rewatch RoboCop. Where is that? Yeah. I bought I bet it's still in the package. Yeah, I bought no, actually, I must have watched one of them, but yeah, I think I watched the second one, but yeah, the 3-pack and then the remake.
Nice.
But have you?
Sadly, I only own the first. I wish I owned RoboCop 2. Just the first.
I actually prefer 3 over 2.
What?
2 is great all the way up until the last 10-15% of the movie, when like they're falling off skyscrapers and the CGI just falls apart. Like the last, like there's a 5-minute fight scene where it's just bad. Like, it's really bad. They should have just calmed it down a little bit.
Dude, the whole third movie should not have happened. Like, at all.
Well, the whole third movie, whole third movie works. Like, OCP takes over, and they bring in their own like military and kick people out of their homes to make way for the city of the future that they were talking about from the first movie. Like, they bring in like these advanced Japanese robots that are pretty cool. They give, like, at the beginning of the movie, he gets like the huge cannon rocket launcher machine gun flamethrower, and then at the end of the movie he gets a freaking rocket, a jetpack. Like, I like the third movie a lot. I do like the second movie. It's just like it falls on its face in the last 10 minutes. Like, it kills me. But I love the trilogy. I love
the second movie.
The made-for-TVs are bad.
Dude, I used to own those, and I'm kind of sad that I don't anymore because they're so bad, but they were also so enjoyable in a way. Like, I mean, how cool was it that, at one point in our lives, there was the movies, the cartoon, and the Prime directives that would all air, like, on TV at different, like, that's, holy crap, dude. You couldn't play that original RoboCop stuff on Prime television now. Like, there's no way. It's too violent. It's too grotesque. There's too many ideas of, like, this hostile takeover. That, like, the commercials in the movie are so, like, fake but real and cause, like, this kind of discomfort. Like, it's awesome that we were from a place that was able to do that.
Right. Well, what RoboCop reminds me of the most is They Live, like, with the political messages, with the subtle hints of, like, consumerism and where we're headed, and like all the like RoboCop, like, that was pretty subtle, and They Live. RoboCop beat you over the head with it, but it was in such a satirical, like, post-apocalyptic kind of, it felt like what am I trying to think here? I can't place the movie right now. Dang it. Well, RoboCop was first, but it kind of makes me think of Predator 2. But anyway, yeah, I love it. Starship Troopers. Yeah, I need to buy that on 4K. I've got that on DVD. But yeah, Starship Troopers. That's another really good one with the messages in the background and, like, yeah, so good. Good call. Good call. I got to get that on 4K, man.
I haven't seen that ever.
Yeah, man. Caleb. I'm going to give you RoboCop 3. I've got 1 and 3 on DVD. I'm just going to give you 3. I don't have 2 either. I don't know why I never found 2. But my list of movies I'm going to give you, just because I've upgraded so many from DVD to Blu-ray. Because, dude, I mean, I'm surrounded by Blu-rays, 4Ks, and DVDs that I just bought. I don't know. I think I'm just going to get a table, and I'm going to stack them up and just have my head over them, and I'm just going to, like, from the side, just go right through them, because it's going to be ridiculous. But yeah, Can You Fly, Bobby? Dude, when they kill him and when they kill Murphy, that was some of the most, like, violent, hardcore stuff I'd ever seen as a kid. Like, and I saw RoboCop after I saw, like, Silence of the Lambs and a couple others, but I was just like, man, this is gnarly. They were talking about actually bringing Clarence back for the second movie as a cyborg RoboCop-esque thing, and I think that would have been really, really cool. I mean, the villain, I can't remember his name now. Payne, yeah. He was great. I had no problem with him. The kid is weird. Like, I like the kid a lot, but when you stop and think about it, you're like, man, this kid is cussing and shooting people, and he's around drugs. Like, RoboCop's just so awesome for how they just didn't care. They were just gonna go gnarly and in your face. I love RoboCop. I mean, 3 was a lot 3 was a lot more
Yeah,
toned down.
but
I will give you that, but it fits for me.
I don't know. It's been a long time since I've watched either of the sequels, and I absolutely loathe the remake. That was just, oh, it was bad.
You need to rewatch
so
it, man.
bad. I know you're a
need to
slight
rewatch
defender of it, but no.
No, I'm a big
No.
defender. Like it's the original RoboCop, and then it's the remake, and then it's 3 and 2. Like dude, go back. I'm telling you, like there is a lot. There's a lot of heart in this movie. Like, and then the special effects are pretty good. Ed 209's cool. The helmet and everything's really cool. Like, go back and then what's his name that played Freddy Krueger? Wow, tonight has just been not my night.
Jackie Earle Haley.
For names. Jackie Earle Haley is the main antagonist pretty much throughout the movie. Does such a good job, like calling him Tin Man, and like you go back to the scrapyard and like just giving him a hard time, and then when they strip his armor away and all you see is like a brain and like the heart and stuff like that, and then like the family aspect, and I like that, you know, they leave his hand attached so that way he still kind of has that, he has the ability to feel kind of and connect with humanity, but he's detached. A lot of heart in this movie, man. Michael Keaton, one of his comeback movies. Samuel L. Jackson is in this movie. Go back and watch this, man. Give it another chance. Give it another chance.
I have seen it 3 times, and each time I hated it more. I will not, if at all possible, ever watch it again. Ever.
Jabari said, "Is there a bad movie I'll defend?" Question mark. What? I mean, Jabari, what's your bad movie
we all
you defend?
do.
But it's tough though, because it's like
I defend Freddy's
you have
Dead,
to have a
so.
movie that wasn't trying to be hokey or goofy or bad. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's certain movies that, like, Sharknado's trying to be bad. Like, that's a dumb example, but you know, trying to think of a movie that has kind of a shtick that, you know, obviously it's dumb. Like Jason X. Obviously Jason X is a dumb movie. Like, but if you make fun of it and give it a hard time for being in space, the joke's kind of on you. Like, it's Jason X. The movie tells you right up front it's going to be dumb, but you have to go with it if you want to have a good time.
I mean, that was a movie I legit thought of. Watch this live, I'll remember. Yeah, I mean, God, I own some of those, like, that are arguably just a bad movie, but I enjoy it. Blair Witch Book of Shadows. God, let's see. The Fast and the Furious franchise.
Yeah, as you grab Little Nicky right there.
Halloween 5. Hey, like I said, that was one of me and my cousin's favorites.
Oh yeah, no, Little Nicky's it's a dumpster fire, but it's a fun one to watch. I love it, dude. When I make a mistake on a video or something.
Ridiculous movie.
Yeah, when I make a mistake on a video or something, or when I go pay money to watch a movie I know I'm not gonna like, or I buy a movie just to complete a franchise. When I think of spending money on something like that or saying something stupid, I think of the thing from Little Nicky when he gets possessed by his brother and he starts punching himself in the nuts. And he's like, "Okay, you win, game over." Like that comes into my head a lot. Like, I love that scene. But Bride of Chucky, ooh, Bride of Chucky. I really like Bride of Chucky.
Bride of Chucky is one of the
I can't remember where I ranked it, but
yeah.
But I could see how that some people why that would be a bad movie, because it's very cheesy compared to the other. I mean, the flavor of the first 3 are very similar, and then Bride of Chucky's all. I mean, it's this way, and then Seed of Chucky is that way.
Oh, I did add another movie. I don't know if I told you or not. Haha.
Nice. Yeah, I bought that a while
That's a
back. I've
bad
been meaning
movie.
to. I think yeah, fun though. Yeah, the thing is like Arnold and some of those other
Yeah.
guys, they really lean back into some of the '80s cheese, and it kind of gets a pass for some of that. And like that's why it's hard to say like '80s movies. It's hard to say they're a bad movie because there's a lot of magic and forgiveness for '80s movies. You know, you like the new Resident Evil? I haven't
I
seen it
mean,
yet. I've been wanting
the
to. I just
the
haven't seen it
new
yet.
I haven't either, and it can't be worse than the last two or three of the original Resident Evil movies. Good Lord. John and I were talking about Resident Evil a while ago. So I went and I bought this. It was like $4. And I was like, okay, sure. So I watched 1 and 2 and 3, and I stopped halfway through this one. I was, oh man, that's bad. And then I popped this one in, even worse. And that's as far as I made it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
I will say they are a lot
So
better if you watch them back to back
be worse
because yeah, they're a lot better if you watch them back to back because they slowly go downhill, and the last few like well the after 4 they maintain a similar flavor to where it's going downhill, but you know that it's going downhill and you kind of go with it. But you got to watch them back to back. It's like watching the new Bond
yeah.
movies. Like nobody likes the second Quantum of Solace. Nobody likes that one if you don't immediately or have watched um, um, Casino Royale because it's just you need to remember all those characters. You need to write off the coattails of that first movie. But yeah, only like the first one of the Resident Evil of Milovich, Milovich. But I one is great, 2 is okay, 3 is kind of a like I'm just ready to finish the franchise, and that's pretty much where I stop. But I did buy the Blu-ray combo pack because I'm an idiot and just wanted to have them. But I'm doing my best to not to upgrade if I don't have to. But I've been buying so many Blu-ray lots off of eBay because they're cheap and because they're there and everything else, and why not? But I need to stop because I'm almost out of room. I need to like get my room complete and do a room tour because it's bursting at the seams. But probably wrap it up there. I'm gonna get me a little something to eat. My wife and I are gonna finish the 4K of Lord of the Rings: The Fellowship for her birthday. Well, I bought this for our anniversary last year, and for her birthday, we were watching Fellowship. We're going to try to finish that tonight, and we're going to watch The Two Towers tomorrow. If you watch it, if you start it at a certain time, at the stroke of midnight, Theoden says, and so it begins at the stroke of midnight. So anyway, but anyway, this was fun. Caleb, what a great recommendation
You do
to
that,
you and your cousin.
Going for this.
I don't have that one. That's the second one, isn't it?
Yeah. I haven't watched it since it came out. I didn't enjoy it near as much as the first, but Silent Hill was another thing we used to do, so I'm probably going to pop this one in for a little bit and then try and crash. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. To everybody, hold your loved ones tight, cherish the times you had with them. It's as Caleb said that he lost his cousin. I lost my best friend a few years ago, and it's one of those things where it's, obviously you're sad, but I always try to dip into like you're doing, like you go back to the memories that you have that, in this life we get what we get, and family members, friends, or like the connections that we get through life are hard to come by sometimes, and we need to hold those tight. So always try to hang on to those memories and treat your loved ones right. So in honor of him, Spawn, and it's a great one.
Yeah, it is.
So, I think we're wrapping up.
Yes.
Caleb, you want to say
Such
anything
a
else?
great bad movie.
Such a great bad movie. It is.
Be safe, enjoy the new year, and may it be better than the last 2 years. Whew.
Absolutely, yeah. Be safe, be happy. We'll see you next time, guys. Thanks, Jabari. Thanks, Kevin, for hanging out. Peace.